Hey community, this is Dr. Hugh. This is a live Facebook feed. Today is December 31st, 2021. Just got done working out, going to the gym. My beautiful wife is right next to me here. But what I want to talk to you today about is actually post-COVID syndrome and having problems after you've recovered from your acute problem. So really what the research is showing, if you're still having problems 4 weeks after testing positive for COVID, you're considered a long hauler. So what really happens is, what that term means is you're not recovering, or if you're recovering really slowly. So for example, myself, I'm pretty much going on a month of testing positive for COVID, and I still have a little phlegm in my lungs. So what I really want to bring or talk about is if I'm going to use an example of, let's say, a female woman in her, let's say her late 30s, early 40s, and she's I'm just going to give you an example. Like her menstrual cycles are a little bit heavy, and prior to having COVID, she was mildly fatigued. Like, what I mean by mildly fatigued is maybe in the morning, she'd have to have a cup of coffee to get up in the morning. Maybe she'd have some slight brain fog, maybe brain fatigue. And this is just like her life. Like, she managed to do this. She managed to get up and go to work and function. And then she gets COVID. Now, really what COVID does is, when we talk to long haulers, is this is going to bring your weak link out. So let's take this example of this female woman. Let's just say she's 40. Let's say she's a little bit overweight, and she has heavy cycles, heavy periods. Now, when it comes to the blood work, let's just say, so she doesn't have optimal iron range. So let's say optimal iron range is here. Like, this is really robust iron, and this would be on the low side. So she was, before COVID, she was like on the lower side, not anemic, but on the lower side. So then she gets COVID, and now what happens is her body's under stress. So when your body's under stress, it uses more antioxidants, it uses more iron, because iron goes around and tries to fight bugs. You're going to use more vitamin C, more vitamin D, magnesium. And now, because it's in the lungs, let's say that the COVID is in the lungs, and now she's not breathing well. So imagine, like, when you have mucus in your lungs, the smallest lung cells in your lungs are one cell thick. Like, one red blood cell can get in there and deliver oxygen. Now, if you have mucus in your lungs, guess what's going to happen to that one little air lung that's one cell thick? Is that red blood cell going to be able to get in there? It's not going to be able to get in there and get oxygen and exchange carbon dioxide. That's not going to happen. Why? Because the lungs have mucus on there, and then the oxygen starts to diminish. Okay, so I'm going to connect the dots. So the mucus starts to diminish, or there's more mucus. There's less oxygenation to the red blood cells. Now, on top of that, this lady is also not anemic, but not really robust iron. So now what's happening is her body needs more iron because she has an infection and she's inflamed. So now all of a sudden, instead of her iron being here, now all of a sudden it flips over here. Now she's anemic. She's not getting enough oxygen because she's anemic, and because there's mucus in the lungs. And then let's say she has mucus in her lungs for maybe 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks. So very slowly, over a period of time, she's not getting enough oxygen. Her red blood cells or her iron are low, suboptimal. What is this going to create? And then on top of that, let's say her hormones are thrown off now too, right? Because when you're getting in a woman that's around 40 years old, the hormones can be up and down, and you don't really have regular cycles. So all this is happening, and this is long hauler. So in order for you to get better, if you're a long hauler out there, really, you need to somehow contact me, share this information with someone. You got to be looking at all these different causes. You need to have a polytherapy approach. So let's say, getting back to this woman who's 40 years old, and then on top of that, because she has a few extra pounds, let's say her glucose levels really aren't really healthy range. They're little slightly elevated. Maybe she went to the doctor, and the doctor said, well, you know, your sugar's a little bit high. You should watch your diet. That was the advice, right? A little high, watch your diet. So now she has too much sugar. Sugar is pro-inflammation. COVID causes massive amounts of inflammation. It affects mitochondria. COVID will deplete all your hormones, iron, progesterone, estrogen, testosterone. The COVID causes chronic inflammation. All these bugs, chronic inflammation. The virus, how viruses work, right? The virus doesn't want you to die, right? That's not what that's not the goal of the virus, because if the virus would infect humans and every human would die, the virus would be, it would be extinct, right? So they don't want to do that. What the virus wants to do is it wants to get into the DNA and it wants to replicate and it wants to infect as many human people as possible without killing them. That's the goal of most viruses. Now, there's a few viruses that like wipe people out. So really, when you look at this, is when this virus gets into the cells, the virus actually get into your DNA, your mitochondria, and there's DNA in your cell nucleus, and there's DNA in your mitochondria. Like, go look this up. Like, if you go look this up, you're going to see these little mitochondria, which are the powerhouses. Each mitochondria can have between 500 and 1,500 small little mitochondria. And I'm telling you, man, the COVID virus, what gets in there, gets in the DNA of the mitochondria, right? The DNA of the mitochondria, and then basically it steals the mitochondria in the DNA, and then you have poor DNA. So, Robert, this has probably happened to you, brother. So, that gets in there, it hijacks it, it starts messing up your whole system. Mitochondria not only produce energy, but they regulate hormones. They regulate your immune system. They do a lot of regulation. So, at the end of the day, how do you get better? You got to have more of a polytherapy guided plan, right? There's not like one thing. There's not like, okay, take vitamin D, take magnesium, do this, do that. All these things are good. Maybe you have mold. Let's say, for example, you have mold exposure and you didn't know, you were fine living with your mold exposure prior to COVID. But now what's happened is COVID has depleted all your resources. It's depleted all your vitamins, minerals, your iron, and now you're chronically inflamed. So now you're going to have this additional problem that's already starting to happen. Or brain fog, getting back to the 40-year-old woman has brain fog. Now instead of having brain fog in the morning and a little fatigue, she's chronically fatigued. She can't think. She's irritable because guess what? The mitochondria is also in your brain. If you deplete the mitochondria, you're depleting all the energy sources. You're dysregulating your immune system. And now she has brain fog and brain fatigue on top of that. So anyway, poor sleeping. So now it just snowballs, right? So I'm going to let you know, like if you're out there and you are a long hauler, COVID long haulers, there's hope for you, there's possibility. But at this point, we need to take a strategic game plan. Because when you really look at the COVID-19 virus, man, this virus has what they call gain of function, which means these viruses, somehow this virus got smarter. We can all speculate on how that is, but there's definitely concrete research that this thing has gotten smarter somehow. And those little spikes on the virus, if you look this up, those things are like, they're like little suction cups. And when they get into the cells, they suction cup to your lungs. When the virus gets into your body, it suction cups into all your organs, your liver, your pancreas, your brain, and it sucks it in there because it's a gain of function. This thing wants to survive forever. So if it can create any kind of better procedure, maneuver, any kind of better parts like the spike on there, it's going to do that and it's going to infect more cells. And this is what's happening with COVID. And then now let's say you have some underlying viruses, because we all have viruses in our body. Like everyone has Epstein-Barr virus. 99.9% of the people have Epstein-Barr virus on labs. I used to do Epstein-Barr virus and check them, and I stopped doing it because everything was positive. So let's see if Epstein-Barr virus, and that's a viral load, so that's in your cells too, that's in your mitochondria, weighing you down, and then bam, then you get this superstar called COVID-19. This thing comes in, hijacks your mitochondria, hijacks your nucleus, and then on top of that, you already have Epstein-Barr virus in there, and maybe you have some other things like mycoplasma or some other unusual viruses, herpes simplex. A lot of people have herpes and don't even know about it, right? They're asymptomatic, but that's another viral load, chronic inflammation, brain fog, and this is why this thing kind of spirals. And then you go to the conventional system and they say, you know what? It's all in your freaking head. here's some antidepressant medication, which is complete bullshit. So if that's happened to you, if you hear this, you got to search out and you got to find some answers, some true answers, someone that cares, someone that will listen to you and won't tell you that it's all BS, it's all in their head, and that's, you know, bogus. So I'm about ready to sign off here. We got a few people, not sure who's on, but if anyone has some questions, you can certainly ask some questions. Tanya, hey Tanya. We have Kristen, Dorothy, Barb, hey Barb. Robert, we got Robert. I think Robert, you're from Turkey, man. I have a couple people that started care in Turkey, brother. And then we got Chad. So, are you on? Are you on my page? No. No, okay. Can you go on and just see if there's any questions? I want to get some questions. I like to give some value on this thing here. Maybe I'm not looking right. Is there questions here? Uses more iron because... Oh, okay. Can someone just type a question? Is anyone on? Just type a question and see if I'm missing some content here. We got 6 people on. I just don't want to... Jamie's watching now. Hey, Jamie. You want to go back and rewatch this. This is really important data about long haulers. If you have any kind of symptoms that have been going on for more than 4 weeks post-infection. Did you type a question? Yeah. It just, okay, it just says, oh, there we go. Wait. Tammy Jalen wants to be in your video. You want to be in my video? No. Okay. All right. I don't know. I must be missing where the questions are. Oh, I see. Someone type a question. Is anyone typing a question? Maybe people are typing. You did? I don't see the question. There, Barb. Oh, okay. Here. What do you do for long haul? I mean, that's like, yeah, okay, so the questions work. Just no one's asked me any questions, man. I mean, I get so excited about questions. So that's, I don't know what, it's all individual, Barb, right? Like, I don't know what's happening with you. I mean, some basic things, you need to like look at your glucose levels, make sure they're between 80, 85, and 120. That's the sweet spot. If you're going over 120 when you're eating, I think that's a problem. Oh, ladies, this is big with ladies, low blood pressure. This is what I found very common with long haulers in women. Is now let's go back to this 40-year-old. So if you're just chiming in, you want to go back and listen to my other thing. Bam! I can't tell you how many people, women in particular, right? Most of my clientele, to be honest with you, is women. A lot of women will have low blood pressure. So what I mean by low blood pressure, 120 over 80 is a sweet spot. Now, if you go to the doctor and they say, wow, your blood pressure is 100 over 50, you are doing, that's phenomenal. No, that's not. That is horrible. We actually need blood pressure. God designed us to have blood pressure to push blood deep into the tissues. So let's go back to this 40-year-old woman who, now we're going to add one more component. So she's slightly anemic. I forget all the different things that she had. She was not doing well. But these are the people that I see. She's slightly, she doesn't have optimal iron levels. She has high glucose levels. What else did I say? I forget all the other things I said about her. So she has those two things. Now she has low blood pressure. So if you have low blood pressure and, oh yeah, mucus in the lungs, low blood pressure, low blood sugar, low iron, you're going to have a huge bad combination of a lot of things happening. So the blood pressure needs to be 120 over 80. So let's go back to this example. Let's say I'm just like, things are just coming to me now. To be honest with you, I just was geeking out at the gym. I was listening to this like superstar functional medicine guy that he doesn't see anybody. He just like delivers information. It was like, sometimes you listen to things and you're like, damn, that's like connecting the dots, A, B, C. So this was connecting the dots for me. And so I still have this lung thing, right? So the person's slightly anemic, poor sugar levels, and poor iron levels. And on top of that, they have mucus in your lungs still 4 weeks out or 6 weeks out. And now you don't have enough oxygen delivery or poor oxygen delivery on top of poor iron, on top of poor blood pressure, on top of poor glucose regulation. Bam. That was serious healing. People, if you listen to that stuff and you apply, if you just figure out those things, right, you're going to move the needle healing. I'm trying to get some questions. Fibrosis in the lungs. I missed the first part of the video. Just go back and listen to it. Also, on my website, I have a whole thing on nebulizing, right? So I'm like, when I got COVID, I know I'm just going on and on and on. I don't know how long have I been talking to this? A long time. Okay, my wife she's so nice. She's just sitting there being just not saying, let's get going. So Oh man, what was I going to say? What was I saying? I got sidetracked. Whatever it was really important. What was I saying there? Do you remember? I mean, I have all these things going on in my head since oh yeah, my website. Okay, so if you go to my website, it's basically 𝗵𝗽𝗻𝗀𝘀.com, and go to the blogs. I have some stuff on like nebulizing. Like when I got COVID, I'm like, oh, you know, I'm healthy. I exercise. I get adjusted. I take vitamins. You know, blah 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 blah. I'll be over in this thing in 2 or 3 days. This is 4 weeks out. I still have junk in my lungs. If you have COVID, I tell everybody, buy a freaking nebulizer. Don't mess around. Get a nebulizer. Start nebulizing. I have some protocols on my website on that. Super simple stuff. You can nebulize colloidal silver. You can nebulize peroxide, which you can make a solution. You can nebulize eucalyptus oil. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can nebulize to start breaking up the stuff in your lungs. Gina, thanks for being on the video. Jennifer, hey. And so anyway, that's it. So I've really, you know, okay, so to give you some solutions. All right, so go get a blood pressure cuff. And if you go to the doctor and say, well, I go to the doctor, my blood pressure's fine, you don't want to do it at the doctor. You want to do it in the morning at home when you're relaxed. So go to the store, get yourself a $20 blood pressure cuff, take it in the morning and take it when you're standing, same time. So when you stand, it should go up 10 degrees or 10 pounds or whatever the measurement is. If it goes down, that's a problem. And if your blood pressure, I would say, if your blood pressure is less than 100, that is a problem, right? So what are some solutions? One thing is you can start just drinking sea salt, right? Like you drink water and put like a half teaspoon of sea salt in there because that's sodium. It holds on the water, increase your blood pressure. I can't tell you how many cases I've helped that these people have spent thousands of dollars, and what did we do? I checked your anemia, their iron status, I checked their blood pressure, and I checked their glucose levels, and what? All three were what? Bad. No one checked them. Why? Because it's not cool. It's not. It doesn't make the doctor, you know, $10,000. They're simple, cheap tests. You can buy everything online. I can't tell you how many cases have been reversed on these three things alone, right? And what I find is people that are post-COVID, they have low blood pressure. So you might want to check, Jennifer, and just see if Luke has low blood pressure. It'd be interesting to find out. So these are the things that you can do. So for blood pressure, sea salt. You start with like a half teaspoon sea salt in like 8 ounces of water or 20 ounces of water, and just monitor it. If you have low blood pressure, that can be due to an adrenal. Your adrenal glands are fatigued out because your adrenal glands produce cortisol, which help raise your blood pressure. Post-COVID, your adrenal glands are shot. So this is another reason why, you know, this blood pressure goes down. Man, I'm just connecting all this stuff. Like, this is just coming to me. In life, you just like study some material and like it like all connects. Like, that's just what happened in the gym. Listening to this dude, I'm like, damn, this is like connecting all the dots. So anyway, I'm going to be coming out with, I want to do a specific blog on this because there's a lot of parts that we can put together. So Emmy is watching here. I'm watching for someone who had COVID badly and is still having problems, eyesight problems, lung problems. Yeah, and sick eyesight. I mean, that means that's probably brain, lung capacity. There's probably still mucus in the lungs. So there's poor oxygenation. And yeah, white sticky phlegm. I mean, that's, you got to handle that. Like that's like, so if you have like a phlegm problem and your lungs are still full of phlegm, that is a problem because you're not getting oxygen. Like if you're not getting oxygen, I don't care. Nothing's getting better. You can take the fanciest supplements. You can take IV therapy, peptides, whatever it is. You got to clear out those lungs. So that's like #1 priority. So anyway, thanks for sticking around. This is probably one of the longest ones I've done, but I've connected a lot of dots for people, so I hope you got value in it. Give me thumbs up, share this content, man. If you're there, just grab the link and put it on your page because there is going to be an epidemic of long haulers, man. There's going to be sick people running all over. They're going to be going to the conventional system and getting how many answers? 0, baby. In fact, what they're doing now, because they're so backed up, if you go in and you have 5, 6 problems, they're going to say, okay, and there's people out there, if this is happening, you give me a thumbs up. What we can only talk about, we can talk about one problem today. That's all we can talk about. So you have a litany of 10 problems. What is your one problem that we're going to talk about? That doesn't help. That's not going to get you better. To get better from any kind of problem, especially chronic problems, you need to have a polytherapy approach, which means many different things to get you better. Love you guys. Peace out. See you next year.